A black-haired man smiles confidently. He reflects on the blessing he received. A white-haired person is utterly stunned. The black-haired man questions what Chaos said. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. They realize it was a private whisper. Mortified, they realize their embarrassing typo. The blush deepens in embarrassment. They spiral into confusion over the chaotic chat. A dog-like character vows to improve as a horned character logs out for the night. The white-haired person continues their game. They lean back with a satisfied sigh. A soft, pleased blush warms their face. They realize the joy of playing together. A major update is announced for the game. A pink-haired woman explains the new update, highlighting the event dungeon's rewards. The dog-like character is excited for the event. A man with spiky hair rallies the team. The dog-like character, Krong, achieves an S rank. The horned man is pleased with his S rank. Krong praises his teammates' good work. A teal-haired man cries over how much Krong has changed. The teal-haired man complains about the rankings, urging everyone to the old house. Annoyed, the horned man complains about being poked. The teal-haired man suggests a school party at the old house. Krong is visibly surprised by the suggestion. The team gathers, looking ready for action. The horned man smiles with satisfaction. As Krong stretches, the team discusses their plans for tomorrow. The white-haired person considers the school party invitation. The next day, a pink-haired fairy is ready for quests. A blonde man looks on in disgust. The blonde man complains about the guild quests, but the horned man dismisses him. Krong looks on, confused by the exchange. A notification reveals Krong's tribe trait, increased gathering speed. The group sees the massive guild request and decides to split the work. The team complains about the lack of resources, but Krong knows better. Krong expertly points out a hidden gathering spot, impressing his friends. Determined, Krong motivates everyone to finish quickly. The team begins to make progress on the quest. Krong's incredible gathering speed astonishes his guildmates. He confidently declares they'll finish quickly. He activates his Fever Time ability. His Fever Time skill activates, boosting all gathering stats. Suddenly, snakes appear, interrupting his crucial Fever Time. He watches in horror as his precious buff timer ticks down. The horned man arrives as Krong frantically marks the coordinates. He panics, unsure whether to fight the snakes or continue gathering. Overwhelmed by snakes, he freezes in panic. A sudden slash strikes one of the snakes. The horned man arrives, sword glowing. Krong is shocked by his friend's speed. The horned man asks what's happening. Krong desperately pleads for help. The horned man fights while Krong gathers. He vows to dispatch the snakes quickly. Krong happily achieves a great success. He holds the defeated snake. Krong celebrates completing the ore request. The guild chat explodes, with confused and amused reactions to Krong's gathering speed. With the teal-haired man asking what's happening, a red-horned character joking about nuclear weapons, and the pink-haired fairy finding it cute. The blonde man praises their craftsman, Krong. Krong realizes the other gathering quests are just as daunting as the first one. Krong leads the way to Tam's location. The pink-haired fairy greets Krong as the teal-haired man panics about the bug-catching quest. Frustrated, Krong rejects the idea of giving up. Krong takes charge, ordering them to gather wood while he handles the bug-catching. With a cheerful hum, Krong finishes his task. He silently thanks Chaos for his help. Krong worries Chaos might have logged off. System messages narrate Krong's various emotes around the still Chaos. Startled, Krong realizes Chaos was present all along. A happy, bashful expression spreads across his face. Krong praises him, but Krong gives all the credit to Chaos. Stunned, Krong reveals his beastman heritage. They enter the creepy 13th floor of Behemer's mansion. A white-haired character dislikes the horror theme. Sudden surprise makes them scream in terror. His teammates laugh at his terrified reaction. Flustered, he denies being easily scared as his friends tease him. He tries to save face, praising the game's realism. Chaos knowingly agrees with him. Chaos explains a horror team designed the level. He internally laments his hatred of horror. They find a key, wondering where it leads. The group stares up at a new, imposing figure. The teal-haired man explains the hook room's gimmick. The white-haired character is skeptical of his advice. He's ironically hooked mid-explanation. The entire team erupts in laughter as he's dragged away. In the real world, Kwang laughs at his friend's misfortune. He realizes how late it's gotten while playing. The group agrees to take a dinner break. Deciding on dinner, he receives a text. He reads the text, confused. A frantic text from a friend pleads for help after falling into the ocean. His friend is shown shivering by the dark water. Panicked, Kwang asks how it happened. Resigned, he decides he has to help. He types a message explaining his sudden departure. Apologizing to his guild, he resolves to save his friend Do-hyun. He hastily packs a bag. On the phone, he urges his friend to stay put. Kwang grabs his bag and rushes out the door. He slams the door, racing to the rescue. A guildmate speaks through voice chat, asking Krong a question. His guildmates worry after the reddish-brown-haired man explains Krong's sudden departure. The reddish-brown-haired man worries, knowing Krong was fine just moments ago. He tries to call Krong, but has no way to reach him. He remembers their group was created specifically for Krong. He looks on with determined concern. Kwang worries about his friend, who hates being alone and dislikes phones. His phone suddenly starts ringing. He demands his friend's location, while Do-hyun suggests taking a taxi to his house. Kwang is stunned into silence by the suggestion. A dark, menacing smile crosses his face. Do-hyun cheerfully explains he's already safe in a taxi. Kwang confronts his friend, furious at the false alarm. Do-hyun innocently thanks him for coming to help. As Do-hyun is welcomed home by family, Kwang pouts, annoyed by his friend's antics. Relieved but flustered, Kwang sees the flood of concerned messages from his guild. He's touched by the pure concern from friends he's never even met. As Do-hyun playfully smacks his back, Kwang sends a reassuring message to the guild. He dismisses his friend's question, telling him it's nothing. The next morning dawns bright and clear. Do-hyun arrives with a peace offering, thanking a tired Kwang for the rescue. Kwang enjoys the breakfast his friend brought. He reflects on his peaceful guildmates, who avoid PvP. Do-hyun explains that the guild's atmosphere feels tense, like something is about to explode, piquing Kwang's interest. Do-hyun reveals rival guilds are recruiting, predicting a massive server-wide conflict over the temple. Kwang recalls their original goal was to recruit Scania. He remembers a happy moment with his guildmates. Yawning, Kwang admits the guild drama kept him up all night. He picks up his phone, ready to face the day. Checking the chat, he sees his guildmates discussing a new event and advises them on party composition. He's shocked to see the event is a couples dungeon. He panics at the thought of couples and marriage. Recalling the game has a marriage system, he decides to log in immediately. Logging in as Chaos, he's greeted warmly by his guildmates. Two other players, already a couple, mention completing the event quest in advance. The red-horned woman pouts, wanting to partner with Chaos as a guildmate teases her. She confidently assumes Chaos will pick her, while Krong notes Chaos's popularity. The pink-haired fairy arrives and sends a couple requests to the teal-haired man. After he accepts, she recoils in disgust, questioning the pairing. Krong feels guilty, believing he's a nuisance holding the party back from progressing. Shocked, Krong realizes Chaos has chosen him for the couple's event. He's momentarily stunned by the invitation. A teammate advises him to accept, pointing out how uncomfortable the red-horned woman is making Chaos. Seeing Chaos's discomfort as the woman presses him, Krong agrees. Clenching his fist, Krong resolves to take the lead. He hesitates briefly before stepping forward between them. A system notification announces Chaos's couple request. Krong looks up, blushing with happy surprise. The red-horned woman looks on, displeased. Krong decisively clicks accept, and a pink notification confirms that he and Chaos are now a couple. Krong shyly stands beside a stoic Chaos, now officially a couple. The red-horned woman points in disbelief, questioning Chaos. Chaos coolly turns away, ignoring her protest. His expression remains calm and determined. Chaos tells Krong to leave Team 1 and start a new party, and Krong agrees. As the red-horned woman stands defeated, guildmates realize they need new partners, with one man asking if he'll have to team up with the Water Knight. Smirking, the red-horned woman says she told them so. Krong glances worriedly at the impassive Chaos. Krong worries he accepted for nothing, as teammates recall Chaos's plan to join Team 1 and decide they can manage alone. A horned woman invites the disappointed Luna to join her, leaving Krong to wonder about his own path. As they're directed to Kasatan Village, Krong worries if he's the only one concerned about the situation. Krong follows Chaos, a worried look on his face. Chaos glances back, wondering if Luna is okay. Krong confidently reassures him that she'll be fine. Krong proudly points to himself, happy to be Chaos's partner. Their inventory shows various scrolls and order forms for the quest. They also have several movement speed increased potions. The final item is a broken fragment of Karam's ring. Krong presents a bag of quest items, explaining they need to finish quickly. Chaos is surprised that Krong prepared everything in advance. A guildmate asks Chaos if he's done this event before, suggesting Luna as a past partner, while Krong listens. Blushing, Krong realizes they'll have to complete the event together as a couple. Chaos holds a content Krong in his arms. As a couple, they share an intimate moment, their faces close. Wah! Overwhelmed, Krong panics, exclaiming that it's crazy. Chaos looks down at the pouting Krong. Krong reflects that despite his turmoil, the quest is going well as a guildmate sings cheerfully. By following Chaos, Krong realizes they've already reached the final quest as Chaos battles a monster. They arrive at Karam's forgotten workshop, where a special ring awaits. A scarred, white-haired man with glasses greets them warmly. Inside, the man explains the ring's magic has faded as Krong looks around the unfamiliar workshop. Chaos asks Krong for the materials, and he eagerly complies. The craftsman praises their speed, holding the finished item box. The man's teasing about them being a couple flusters Krong, who angrily denies it. Chaos's thoughts seem to be on his own identity. Embarrassed, Krong thinks they're a complete mismatch of tribes. A system notification confirms they've completed the quest and obtained the ring. Chaos notes they finished just in time as the corridor is about to open. Krong beams, happy with their success. The corridor activates, and the incomplete ring begins to respond. A ball of light reveals itself to be Karam. A vision of long, flowing blonde hair appears. The spirit of Karam appears, bestowing a blessing of strength and luck upon them. Now holding a staff, Krong stands with Chaos in the newly opened corridor. They proceed down a corridor lit by ornate chandeliers. Spotting a line of maids, Krong admires the effort put into the decor. Chaos finds Phase 1 easy, noting he couldn't do much damage anyway. As Chaos fights the maids, Krong feels he has little to contribute. A bright, sparkly message enthusiastically cheers for the current events. A system notification announces that Krong is performing a cheer dance. Dressed as a cheerleader, Krong energetically encourages Chaos with pom-poms. Chaos turns his back to Krong, silently taking in the display. A small, knowing smile appears on Chaos's face. The system announces they have successfully conquered Phase 1. A guildmate with teal hair asks where everyone is, waiting at the elevator. Another guildmate confirms they also use the elevator, as the teal-haired man expresses shock at Chaos's strength and level. Chaos gives a slight, confident smirk. Krong laughs happily, wondering if Chaos is joking or just teasing him. He fondly recalls a past quest, thinking he and Chaos have good chemistry. In the real world, the white-haired boy looks on thoughtfully. A close-up shows his sweatshirt, which reads Cat's Club. Back in the game, Krong is struck down as a system message declares his attack failed. The moment of failure is emphasized with a sharp visual cue. Krong lies defeated on the tiled floor, his bare-topped staff beside him. Annoyed, he wonders why he tried again when the first phase was so simple. A massive red dragon appears, roaring as it unleashes a torrent of fire. Krong identifies the Phase 2 boss, Caesarurus, and steels himself for the intense fight ahead. Chaos calmly instructs Krong to keep his distance and not to heal him immediately. Surprised, Krong asks if this is Chaos's first time, amazed at his fluid movements. Chaos identifies the boss's breath pattern, but Krong gets caught in the flames despite his resolve to dodge. Fired up, Krong decides to attack the dragon's tail himself. His determined charge ends in a moment of pure, wide-eyed shock. Chaos looks back to see Krong lying defeated on the ground once more. As a teammate gives instructions, a notification explains the gimmick failed because Krong died, resulting in a draw. In the real world, the white-haired boy yells in frustration. Seeing chat messages about Phase 3, he realizes the other parties have already moved on without them. Krong feels disheartened by Chaos's silence, fearing their connection was just his imagination. The next boss is revealed, a serene, blonde-haired woman named Eroded Reina. As guildmates complain about the difficult boss, Krong listens, realizing how tough the fight must be. Krong feels guilty, thinking Chaos would be better off with Luna as he steps away from his computer. Chaos warns of a wide-area attack, but as Reina strikes, Krong is caught, screaming that the encounter is a scam. Crying in frustration, Krong wonders how Chaos can so easily avoid the attacks on his first attempt. He reminisces about his cheerful guildmates, feeling the awkward silence between him and Chaos. Regretting his earlier words, he worries about their partnership and the growing discomfort. Over voice chat, The black-haired player suggests that if his partner is uncomfortable, it's okay to break up, stunning the white-haired player into silence. The white-haired player agrees that he could cancel the contract but realizes he doesn't want to. As they both sit in thought with their headsets on, a silent question hangs in the air. The black-haired player looks on with a slightly surprised expression. The white-haired player's face breaks into a wide, joyous smile. A cat from his cat's club shirt seems to peek over his shoulder. He happily asks if Chaos is okay with them continuing together. The black-haired player looks flustered as his partner enthusiastically vows not to make another mistake. Focusing intently on his screen, the white-haired player dismisses his previous doubts. In-game, Reina is hit by multiple attacks that only deal 1 point of damage each. Krong notes that while skill damage is ineffective, status effects work, questioning the fight's mechanics. Krong excitedly realizes the fight's true nature, asking if it's PvP mode, and Chaos coolly agrees. Krong decides to switch to his PvP skill tree for the attack. The new strategy works, as even a basic skill significantly damages Reina. Krong happily reports their success, but Chaos's sharp observation about his PvP build leaves him momentarily speechless. Pouting, the white-haired player gives up on getting a response and decides he doesn't care anymore. In the guild chat, other members express their shock and frustration with the sudden PvP mechanics. Focusing on support, Krong applies crowd control effects, perfectly setting up Chaos to break Reina's chains. The white-haired player marvels at Chaos's flawless timing, hitting the boss perfectly after every debuff he applies. The black-haired player intently analyzes the fight, realizing Chaos is calculating cooldowns and evasion for perfect attacks. Lying in bed, the white-haired player laments their narrow defeat, feeling they were only 7 away from victory. A rising competitive spirit tempts him to join the attack, but he fears revealing his identity as Ares. Wah! Overcome with desire, Krong's puppy avatar tearfully vows to obtain the event reward. Other players buzz with excitement over the reward, a title granting a 3 critical hit rate. Eyes sparkling with determination, Krong's puppy avatar is ready to win. A flashback begins as Chaos's player recalls first hearing the name Krong outside the game. A white-haired man in glasses warmly welcomes a younger, brown-haired man named Wonho. Wonho's past is revealed, a model student from a wealthy family whose life changed after discovering gaming. His friend marvels at Wonho's incredible gaming speed, which he coolly accepts as a compliment. The friend mentions his brother-in-law is a high-level ranker, piquing Wonho's interest. He shows Wonho a photo of his wife and her handsome, white-haired brother-in-law holding a small dog. The friend reveals the puppy is named Krong, as a tiny voice chides him for bragging again. Wonho thoughtfully considers this revelation while looking at his phone. Back in the game, a small, cute healer runs from a giant beetle, the awakened field boss. He stumbles through the desert, struggling with his oversized staff. Suddenly, Chaos appears with glowing blades, saving the small healer from the monster. In the real world, Wonho reflects on his partner, sensing a hidden purpose behind his actions. He remembers the healer's sincere, if clumsy, efforts during their first encounter. Watching the healer learn and improve was more fun than he ever expected. Chaos decides that even if there's no perk for him, he won't disappoint his eager partner. With newfound resolve, he steps forward into the fight. Chaos leaps into the air, preparing to land a powerful blow on Reina. A massive blast of purple energy erupts from his attack. With a confident smile, Chaos decides they'll clear the dungeon and share the perks together. Krong cheers, having successfully applied a stun effect on the boss. Good job, Chaos says, striking the immobilized Reina with precision. The two players, in their respective rooms, share a moment of perfect, unspoken synergy. System notifications confirm their victory, making them the first on the server to defeat Reina as Krong celebrates. Krong bounces with joy while Chaos watches his partner's celebration with a composed look. A small, satisfied smile appears on Chaos's face as he acknowledges their teamwork. Krong the puppy stands proudly beside Chaos under the title Strongest Couple. Krong attempts to comfort a fellow player whose partner abandoned him before the event even started. Chaos stands alone, an imposing figure under the floating title of Strongest Couple. The white-haired player resigns himself to their quiet dynamic, deciding to drop the informal speech. He blushes fiercely at the very thought of meeting the quiet, intense Chaos in person. A list shows the other couples who successfully cleared the event after them. The red-horned woman looks on, thoroughly annoyed. As one guildmate speculates on another team's strength, She complains loudly about her own partner's mistakes. Her friends laugh, teasing that the two hotheads are best friends and will make up eventually. The white-haired player happily asks to delay the couple dungeon for an 8 o'clock appointment. After agreeing, the black-haired player casually asks who he's meeting. The white-haired player arrives at a bar, calling out to someone for inviting him and then drinking without him. The white-haired player looks on, his neat appearance sparkling. He reflects on his clothes, feeling at ease when fully dressed. A flashback reveals a younger, sadder version of himself. He recalls being bullied in school, which made him obsessed with his appearance. His friend is shocked that he found a partner, but he boasts of being the server's first to clear the event. The friend loudly questions his partnership, drawing attention from other patrons. Continuing his outburst, the friend expresses disbelief at his bluntness. The friend calms down, saying he's glad about something. He smiles, happy that his friend is having a good time. He recalls his friend, Kim Do-hyun, having a meddlesome nature but also helping him when he was young. In the game, guildmates discuss a tournament, wondering if Eris will participate. They gossip about a rumor that Eris can't equip gear, as Krong's puppy avatar listens. Krong's avatar decides to confess, announcing to everyone that he is Ares. The moment is fraught with tension as a major accident occurs. As Krong shouts his identity, his guildmates stare back in stunned silence. He anxiously worries about their reaction, fearing betrayal or being kicked out. The tattooed guildmate breaks the tension by jokingly claiming to be from the FBI. Krong insists he's telling the truth, but his guildmates laugh, clearly not believing him. Back in his room, the white-haired player is embarrassed that no one believed his confession. Feeling tipsy, he speaks with Chaos over voice chat, who agrees to use formal language again. Krong's avatar desperately shouts his identity as Ares one more time. His guildmates are completely baffled by his repeated, unbelievable claim. In another scene, Krong's human avatar enthusiastically praises Chaos's fighting skills. Lying defeated in a puppy onesie, Krong tells Chaos he's dead. Chaos calmly prepares to resurrect him. The white-haired player has a sudden, horrified realization. Staring at his screen, he yells in frustration, "Ah, crazy!" Back in-game, Krong marvels at a hidden waterfall, asking Chaos if he's seen it. He realizes he always missed the scenic spot by teleporting away after dungeons. Chaos explains the waterfall is based on Iguazu Falls. Krong muses that the beautiful landscape makes his problems seem insignificant. Under the moonlight, he confides in Chaos about being bullied as a child. As Chaos listens, Krong explains his lingering self-consciousness about his clothes. The white-haired player smiles, thinking that both dungeons and talking to people are fun. He reflects on his first time communicating so much, though he admits Chaos can be strict. Chaos asks a blue-haired player named Mr. Manners about dealing with unicorns. Mr. Manners confidently boasts about a skill to put unicorns to sleep, making the fight faster. Mr. Manners laughs, proud of his supposed expertise. Krong's avatar objects, pointing out the skill's high mana cost and questioning its effectiveness. The tattooed player, Water Knight, facepalms in regret for choosing Mr. Manners. Mr. Manners smirks, thinking it's simple, as the narration calls him useless. The guildmates are annoyed, interpreting his words as a slight against Krong's healing abilities. Krong and his guildmates argue against Mr. Manners' flawed logic. Mr. Manners dismisses them, blaming the healer for their struggles, and Krong angrily refutes it. The teal-haired player analyzes the fight, noting the lack of damage means it's a total party wipe. Krong realizes just how difficult the dungeon is when they're down one member. Mr. Manners criticizes Krong, telling him to focus on healing. Krong seethes with anger, realizing he's being blamed again. Another guildmate defends Krong, questioning why Mr. Manners is blaming the healer. Mr. Manners mockingly accuses them of taking sides, because they're in the same guild. The tattooed guildmate shuts him down, confirming Krong was healing while Mr. Manners dealt no damage. Annoyed, his guildmates threaten to report Chaos on the complaint board if he makes any mistakes. Chaos coolly accepts the inefficient task of handling the unicorn, while Krong's avatar feels a sense of relief at his partner's calmness. As Chaos prepares for battle, a guildmate threatens to publicly shame him as an unskilled player if his contribution is too low. The contribution results flash on screen, revealing Chaos at the top of the ranks and Mr. Manners at the very bottom. The teal-haired guildmate laughs maniacally, excited to post about Mr. Manners' failure on the bulletin board. The pink-haired fairy and the tattooed guildmate tell Mr. Manners to stop boasting about his skills and blaming others for his failures. With the conflict resolved, The guildmates share a laugh, their camaraderie restored. Chaos watches them with a faint smile, feeling like he has found true allies. The guild rallies around Krong's puppy avatar, praising his performance and petting him affectionately. His guildmates begin to giggle and gossip, pointing out how Chaos and Krong are always together like a real couple. The scene shifts to the real world, where the white-haired player shares a loving smile with an older woman. He's persuaded to join a family dinner, where his brother-in-law asks if he plays the same game as one of his friends. He gently pets his small white dog, Krong, a quiet smile on his face. Wujuya. Outside, Wuju unexpectedly runs into Chaos's player, who asks why he keeps seeing him in the neighborhood. The black-haired player confronts him, asking impatiently if he's going to be ignored. Wuju's expression turns dark as he has a chilling thought. Should I completely get rid of Supernova?